welcome, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
That was
Thanks
good.
for having us.
Thanks, Emmet. I appreciate you starting it off. Well, I just sat here and looked at you guys. So let's just start off with if you guys could just say your name, what city you're in, and how old you are, and then we'll chat a little bit. So since Emmet took control there, Emmet, you go first.
My name's Emmet O'Sullivan. I'm 17 years old. I'm the oldest one here, looks like, besides you, Mark.
Oh, thanks for sharing that part.
And I've lived my whole life in Manhattan, in New York City. And I'm going into my senior year in high school.
Awesome. Okay, how about Nsoroma?
Hello everyone. My name is Nsoroma Karmue and I'm 13 and I live in Sacramento.
Where are you from originally?
Originally I'm from Liberia, West Africa. My parents are from there, and yeah.
Love it. All right. Skyler.
Hi everyone, I'm Skyler Farasat. I am an 11-year-old from Sacramento, and I will be going into 6th grade.
Cool. And I've known you since you were 10, now 11. Man, this is cool. And E-Train.
Hi everybody, my name is E-Train, real name Ethan, but I go by E-Train on the internet, and I also live in Sacramento, a bit of a trend here, and I'm going into 8th grade. I'm 13 years old.
Cool. By the way, yesterday was my birthday, but I'm in Hermosa Beach, California, and I don't really want to tell how old I am compared to you guys. But thank you for pointing it out that I was the oldest one here by far. How old do you think I am?
I'd say 25, 30.
Oh, way to suck up. Good job. Anybody else?
I'd say 30, I don't know. Something like that, you know.
Oh, you guys, you make me feel like spectacular. I'm going to send you all gifts. What about the girls? The girls are usually the harshest. Go ahead. What do you think?
I think you're probably like somewhere in your 40s, probably.
Same.
Cool. Skyler?
Same. Yeah.
Same.
They're
I
the
love you guys. I'm definitely going to send you something really good. You guys are the best. I'm not going to have anybody else ever on the series, just you guys. So let's share a little bit now about what you've done, what's important to you, what you've done. How about if we start, and Nsoroma, how about if we start with you? Share about your mission, the impact you want to make, what you started.
Okay, hello, my name is Nsoroma again, and I have a company called Melanin is Beautiful, and it's a skincare company, and it stems off me being bullied in school and how my story affected, like how I want my story to affect other kids just like me. And I feel like how that all ties together is because like in school when I was bullied, I always tried to conform to what other people wanted me to look like or do, and I feel like I want to have an impact on other kids so that they know that you don't have to conform to society's standards. And that's kind of my mission. And in my skincare company, I want everyone to feel accepted in who they are. So that's kind of a little bit about me.
That's awesome. I remember you saying you wanted kids to feel empowered in their own skin, right?
Yeah.
Cool. No, that's fantastic. Emmet.
Yeah, so I have a similar mission in a way about empowerment, but so I self-published this children's book called Drew Discovers Diabetes, and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 2020. And since then, I've really learned how to manage the condition, and I want to, two things. I want to first empower kids with type 1 diabetes to know that they can do whatever they want. The dinosaur Drew does play sports and reads and plays games that I when I was first diagnosed, I love to do. And the second thing is it's a sign for everyone to learn the symptoms. For me, I caught my diabetes super late, near a coma state. So it goes through the symptoms and diagnosing process of type 1 diabetes. So not only is it for kids with the condition, but it's for everyone, so they can be more educated on how to catch type 1 diabetes and how to treat it.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I mean, literally will save lives, literally. So thanks for doing that. E-Train, talk to us.
Yeah, my name is E-Train, and my mission is to get books into the hands of all kids. I really discovered what I wanted to do in 2022. That rhymes. I talked with a person named Dr. Molly Ness. She runs a podcast called End Book Deserts, and I didn't really know what a book desert was. I always knew in the back of my mind that there were kids who didn't have access to books, and having been surrounded by stories my whole life, I really wanted to do something about that. And like knowing the term that really demonstrates it, that's kind of like really puts everything into perspective. And for the past 2 years, I think, yeah, something like that. I've been running book drives. I've given thousands of books to kids in underprivileged communities, unhoused kids, and even kids in the hospital in the ICU. So that's my mission.
Pretty good. I think what you should do is distribute Emmett's books, Skyler's books, and Nsoroma's skin cream.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
a
You should be-
combination. Yeah, I like
you
that.
should- You're the official distributor of all of those together. They can, while they're reading their books, they can use the skin cream and go from and go from there. Last but not least, of course, Skyler.
Hi everyone, I'm Skyler and I have published 5 books. And
Show off. What a show off.
I've just recently published my 5th book, which is Georgina, and it's a tale of friendship and coping with life's many seasons and changes. And my mission is to start to create world peace. And I really feel that we should all start creating inner peace so that we can eventually create world peace. And so I hope my books do just that.
That's like absolutely amazing. So we've got inner peace tied into feeling good about ourselves and our inner soul and our health, mental and physical, and how important it is to read, to be aware of all this stuff. This is how it all connects. And world peace isn't such a big mission. It's a big mission, but it's not a unavailable or unreachable mission. Can you guys talk a little bit about and share a little bit with other people who might think that, oh, what I do won't really make an impact. It's just some small thing that I do, and how is that an impact? So I'm really not gonna bother. Maybe we'll go back to you, Skyler. What do you think about that? Did you ever think that this is just a small thing, it won't make an impact?
Definitely. And I've always watched so many other people write books, and I've always loved reading. And I didn't actually realize that I could be one of those people and give an attempt to being an author. And once I just started, I had so much courage to keep going. And so it started with 1 book, and now here I am with 5. And I definitely think if you set your mind to anything, you'll be able to accomplish it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And Nsoroma, what did you think, like, wow, should I even do this? I'm just one person, and probably other people have thought the same thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there's so many like skincare companies. So I thought like, what does mine do to make a difference? But it all stems back to your story because I mean, so many people have wrote books, so many people have done everything, but it stems back to your story and how you first started it. So that's really the difference between everyone else, because everyone else can just make books, but it doesn't have a story behind it like your company does. So
Yeah, brilliant. We'll go to Emmet. What about you?
Yeah, so I guess I'll tell a little story about how I've seen the difference been made. So when I clicked the publish button, I didn't really know what would come out of it. So, and then a few weeks later, I got an email from a reader who was saying that they're so thankful that I wrote this book because, or what happened is someone bought the book because their neighbor's, I think it was their neighbor's son loved dinosaurs. So they bought the book just because it was a dinosaur book, not really because it was like a diabetes book. And the neighbor bought or gave the book to the other parents saying like, oh, I think your son would love this book. And what the person who bought the book didn't realize was the parents they gave it to, the dad had type 1 diabetes and would really wanted a book to explain it to their young son on how the condition worked.
Wow.
So just hearing stories like that and how my book has made a difference and made explain the condition from the dad to the son easier, that alone has made me super happy I've done it, even though at first I didn't really know where it would lead.
Yeah, that is amazing. You never know, and if it touches one person, then it touches who knows how many after that. and so on. You feel the same way, Emmett? When if you know, people, there's all sorts of people talking about how important literacy is. What am I going to make a difference? Not Emmett, Ethan, I mean.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I absolutely feel the same way. And you know, when I first started, I was giving like a couple books. I wasn't even really giving books at first because I didn't really know how. It took a lot of time to really think about how I can make a difference. And there are definitely moments, even now, where I wonder, am I really impacting these kids' lives? Because you see people out there giving to the homeless, they give in other forms, other assets, other ways. And then I just kind of come to realize how many smiles I see on kids' faces when I come talk to them, when I connect with them, because it's not just about giving, it's also about connecting with them. And when they truly see like how important books are and how they can really change their lives. I mean, it's not just about you, it's also about like I've really seen so much growth in the kids that I've talked to, so much just pure joy. And I think that's really what it's all about.
No, you guys are brilliant. You know, sometimes, you know, not even just kids, but adults will see you doing something and that'll spur them into, man, you know, I can do something. I can do one thing. And maybe they've been waiting their whole life, literally, to actually, you know, say, okay, I will do it. I mean, if they can do it, why can't I do it? Type of thing. So, you know, we're always. I talk a lot to people who have been influencers in their lives, as you probably might remember, and a lot of times things that happen when you were a kid gives you the confidence to do something later when you're an adult, when someone really believed in you or you saw something you did like you guys are doing or making an impact, and allows other people. It might be in a totally different subject. It doesn't matter, but you give them the courage to do it. Emma just shared, you know, a specific story. Do you guys have maybe an experience maybe one experience or two experiences that really impacted you, you know, importantly or profoundly from what you're doing? Anybody can go next. Looks like Skyler might want to talk. Was there one time, Skyler, something happened that like, wow, I can't believe this happened?
Yeah, I think I do a lot of author events at schools, and I've just loved seeing like so many kids come up to me and just tell me that after this, they're gonna go try to write a book or create something of their own. And that's what I was like when I was like their age, and I really wanted to create something. And seeing other kids who also wanted to create a book or other stuff really, really made me feel good that there's other people out there as well who want to create something.
Anybody else?
I can jump in.
Go for it.
So when I visited a school one time, I was told by teachers beforehand that there were kids who they thought differently, they were a little bit different, and sometimes when people came to talk at the schools, they might interrupt and they might just they might not really be able to stay the entire time. And I noticed that when I was talking, everybody just like of different backgrounds, of different different everythings really. Like everybody was interested, everybody really cared, and they saw themselves. That's kind of what books do. You see yourselves in the stories, you see yourself in the stories people share, and people come up to me afterwards. They just shared their love of books, and it's something that everybody can connect with, whether you have a passion for music, for sports, it all kind of comes back to books, and that's really what makes it special. Just knowing that no matter where we come from, what we look like, we can all connect thanks to stories. And I think talking about it, like what Skyler said, it really like brings out the best in people.
Yeah, you know, in everything, you know, my one of my sons is an actor, and he learns storytelling, and in business, the thing that hits home most is storytelling, how you tell a story, because people can connect to it, like you all say, and they remember it more. And Nsoroma, you know, bullying's a big deal right now out there, and interestingly enough, it's not just at schools; it's even with our politicians and people in business that they bully in different ways. How have you talked to people about your products and tied that into your story, about why this is why you're doing that?
I can say that it all stems from also talking to other kids because I feel like my message stems to kids, but I feel like adults also get empowered by what I do as well. But I feel like how everything ties all back together is because, yeah, you can just have a normal skincare product. I mean, there's so many other skincare brands and skincare products out there, but I feel like it stems from just accepting yourself where you are and not really conforming to what other people want you to be or what other people might say about you, which is something that I struggled with in school because like every time somebody would say something about me, I would always try to conform to it and try to change myself because of what they said. So I kind of want to target like people who are like that or other kids just like me and like just tell them that you don't have to conform to what other people say about you. So that's kind of why I made the skincare product, the skincare brand. And I feel like that's really important to get that message out through like different platforms because I'm also in the middle of creating my own podcast and book. So I feel like that can also help spread message to other kids and other people.
Cool. You're going to invite us onto your podcast?
Yeah, of course I would. Yeah.
Cool. What product does somebody get first from you?
One of like the usual common products is probably my body butter, but I am rebranding and like launching soon. So I'm trying to create new products and stuff. So yeah, probably the body butter.
Super cool. And Ethan, do you have a favorite book? I can imagine you have a gazillion favorite books, but do you have a favorite book?
So you just asked the toughest questions.
Sorry.
That's probably why you have a podcast. Yeah, my favorite book. I'd say it's this book called Starfish, and both because the story, Starfish by Lisa Phipps, just want to include the author's name. Both because it's a really empowering book, and also because it was the first time that an author ever noticed what I do. So what I do is I review books. That's how it all started, and I had just kind of done it for a school project at first, but that was the first time an author actually noticed one of the reviews, and that's really what, kickstarted everything that I do. And the book, it gives a really great message. It's in verse, so it's a poetry form, and it kind of like what Nsoroma said, when it comes to books as well, they're so empowering when it comes to bullying, and they kind of show you not just to stand up for yourself, but also to just kind of grow into loving yourself, because that's just as important, if not more important.
Yeah, and I find books also sometimes let you just get away for a while, right? Into some
Yeah.
other world, some other, scenario and whatnot, and imagine. And one of the things we need more, as much as anything, I think these days, is imagination to let our brains, our minds just go into places that maybe it's never gone before. So that's really cool too. Emmet and Skyler, do you have your books near you by any chance?
Yeah.
Skyler, do you want to read a little part from one of your books?
Yeah. So I'll read a part from Georgina, my latest book.
Mm-hmm.
Georgina, an enchanting tale of friendship and changing seasons by Sky and Fan. As winter winds whistled through the blue oak branches, Ina whispered, "Friendship, like the changing seasons, is eternal. Embrace the cycles, my dear George, for every leaf that falls is a new friend waiting to unfold." George realized a profound lesson of nature's cycles.
Pretty cool. We've got to figure out a way to get Ensoroma's product into your book, I think. Emma, can you read something from yours?
Sure. So I'll pick the scene right after Drew goes into the doctor's office. He's concerned with all the symptoms he's having. He brought his family and he really doesn't know what's going on. So he's waiting for the doctors to explain what's happening. So after pricking Drew's finger to get blood to check, Dino Doc and Dino Nurse explained, "Drew, you have what's known as type 1 diabetes." And the nurse says, "Dino's bodies make a hormone called insulin." What's a hormone? Hormones are substances made by our bodies. They have important jobs to do to help us stay healthy. Insulin is a hormone that helps turn sugar found in food into energy. Dinos with type 1 diabetes don't make insulin by themselves. Instead, they put insulin in their bodies to help out. So I think I chose that page because a difficult part of the writing process was picking, finding a balance between specific and scientific words, but also digestible words for children to read. So that was a page I spent a lot of time on. And I think like that's kind of what the book is for. It's for a way that kids can understand, but also learn a lot. So I think that page demonstrates that.
Yeah, that's awesome. One thing I'm really proud of you guys is you're aiming at an audience of kids who will trust you because you're young and you're your peers, and you're doing it in ways that it's important but understandable, that the story can be remembered. But it always reminds me of a movie called Aladdin. You guys remember Aladdin? And Robin Williams was in Aladdin, and they made the movie for kids, but they made it so adults would love it too. In fact, us adults loved when we had kids because it gave us an excuse to go to those movies and not look silly going by ourselves to those movies. But there was lines in there that were funny for adults that even some kids, very young kids, wouldn't understand anyways and stuff. But you're all doing something that is influencing everybody, not just kids, and I think impacting families too. And you should be proud of yourselves, and that you are influencing. And I know we've talked about this a little bit before, but can you guys share, like, really quick, you know, and I know you're going to say your parents, but aside from your parents, is there someone out there that, or a couple of people, maybe someone you never even met, that influenced you in one way or another? How about if we go for it?
So, well, this didn't influence me to write the book because this happened after, but it influenced me to like keep going and in other dimensions revolving diabetes. So I was at the Harlem Health Fair in New York City, giving away a lot of my books to newly diagnosed type 1 diabetics. And this little girl like went up to me, and I could tell her she didn't really want to go up to me, but her family was standing behind her, like giggling, and like she very shyly said in a quiet voice, like, "Oh, can I have a book?" And then I signed a copy for her, and then I gave her it, and then she didn't leave. She just like kind of stood there and didn't say anything. I knew, like, I don't know if her family wanted her to say something. And after like a moment of silence, her mom came up. I guess she was too shy, and explained that she had just gotten diagnosed with type 1 diabetes like a month ago. So, and I had a long conversation with her, and at the end, she was like the chatterbox after like a little bit of time talking to her. And I was explaining her sort of the ins and outs of the cool things you can do with type 1 diabetes, whether it's skipping airport lines or having sort of a special ability. Having a special ability. People with type 1 diabetes make up to 180 to 320 more decisions every day than I guess like normal people. So like she found that really cool and was like, oh, it's a superpower decision-making ability. So I think what that speaks to is the book is cool. People can read the book, but the people I've met after writing the book is it being used as a platform is all the more important for me, for myself, like meeting people with the condition. And I don't think I'm ever going to forget that moment, because it's really sort of what made me want to meet more people with type 1 diabetes and make them feel better about themselves, like I did with that girl.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. You might have done more for her than just about diabetes. You might have actually brought her out of Rochelle and so many other things, and not to mention you impact the parents too. Yeah, super. Thanks for sharing that. Nsoroma?
So an experience, kind of like a person that really influenced me, I would have to say is my sister, because like although she's my sister, like we've been through like a lot, and like seeing her with her company and like everything she does to impact kids, that kind of influenced me to like create my own company and like what I can do, because my dad always used to say like you're young, so like do what you want to do, because like when you get older, like people might not always listen to you, and when you're young it's kind of like an advantage. So I always saw my sister doing all these fun things and helping out kids with her company called Happy Heart Advices. So I thought that was really cool, and I decided to do something with my story to help other kids just like me as well.
Oh, way to go, sister. Nice. That's awesome. Thanks. E-Train.
I think an inspiration for me has to be a librarian named Michael Threets. So Michael's story is he went super viral for all the library stories that he shares of like his everyday work. But recently he experienced a ton of hate after going viral. He had to quit, resign from his job as librarian, had actually a library in Fairfield. And he just, despite the fact that he experienced a lot of hate, that people were even coming to his own like place of work and harassing him, he just doesn't stop sharing book love. And I experienced a lot of anti-Semitism at school, but I think Michael really shows that no matter what you go through, no matter what anybody says, that if you just keep working hard, keep doing what you love, then that really silences all the haters. That really silences everybody talking down to you, saying you can't do something, saying that you're wrong or weird. He's a really great person. I had the chance to interview him, and yeah, he's just a really great guy.
No, that's spectacular. And you know what? Being different is actually fantastic. You don't want to be like everybody else. You want to be different. So
You have to be odd to be number one.
yeah, you do. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, those guys were nerds or this or that and whatnot. So speaking of being different, what about you, Skyler?
Yeah, so every time I go to an author event or I sign books for people, I always feel so inspired because I see all these kids come up to me and they tell me what they've been working on. And one girl, when I was at a bookstore signing books, came up to me and told me that she was writing a book, but she didn't know like how to finish the book because she didn't really believe in herself and she didn't think she could do it. Because you see all these adults writing books or starting businesses, you don't really see that much youth in that. And so when she saw me do that, she just really knew she could do it and finish her project. And I just feel so inspired that like so many other people and kids are also doing projects as well.
Yeah, okay. Well, you just told me that I should finish the book that I have sitting there for years, basically, is what you just told me. Type of thing. So thanks for that inspiration and challenge. Also, you guys are great. There's a reason we created this Leaders Who Care series, and it was to show people exactly what you're showing, right now, that caring about something and sticking to it, you can make a difference out there, and you should make a difference, out there. And between you and me, I guess, maybe sort of, you guys are the most favorite ones that I talk to over all those other adults out there, even though they're pretty good too. And the last thing I'll put out is, and I think you guys are epitomize this, is that we should all remember that we're influencing others, even when we don't know we're influencing others. And you have a choice to be positive or negative in how you go about acting, because someone's watching at some time about maybe they're in line watching you and they're nervous about coming up to you, but then all of a sudden get inspired or kind of pushed to you, as what you said. Yeah, keep making a difference. We're proud of you guys, and thanks for being leaders who care, for real.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.